Hi there! I had another video I was going to do before this one, but I was actually really excited to break into this stuff. So, as the title of the video says, I got a few things from Morphe brushes, but they have makeup too. You've probably heard about their brand before. They're kind of all over the place right now, and they were on Hautelook, which is a site that I use all the time. To try out a few of their different products, I of course got some of their brushes. So I got this fold out case of face brushes and eye brushes. I'm going to be trying a couple of these today, probably not any of the face ones though. And as for makeup, I got one of their blush palettes. I think they have a few different shades of them. I'm not sure, and I can try and find names for these to put down below. I think they only have like numbers on the back, but I think when I bought them they had names. I'm gonna look for those. For right now, this is 9B, that's all I know. But it's this nice blush palette with a lot of different colors, so I thought this would be a good way to try out their blushes. Plus, I got one of their pretty monstrous eyeshadow palettes. Again, I don't know the name of it. Ooh! One of the eyeshadows fell out. This is a great start. So moving on, the number I have on this palette is 35E, but I'll try and put the name down below. But this is like, I think it's something like It's Bling or something. It's like one of their warm toned palettes, and it's not totally neutral. You'll see you have like a few different bright colors in there. The one that fell out is the darkest shade, so they don't have like a matte black in this or anything. They're mostly, I think they're all shimmery. Yeah, they're all pretty much satin or shimmery finishes. So I thought this was a good way to try out their eyeshadows. After I film this, I'm going to go have some arts and crafts time with my glue gun and reattach this poor little eyeshadow that fell out. But at least now we know it might be not too difficult to depot these eyeshadows. I've done pretty much the rest of my makeup, so I'm just going to start with the blushes because normally I do the blush right after my contour, and I already did that. So here we go. Part of me wants to go for like just the super neutral pink or like maybe the slightly darker one. It's tough because I'm wearing black today, so it's not like I can really know what colors are going. Let's go for this corally blush shade. I wish these had names. This is getting really difficult. And that's actually looking nice and subtle. I was a little nervous at how much powder it looked like I got on my brush, but it's looking pretty good. That was like 2 tries, and I've got pretty much all the blush I need. I'm going to break in one of these eyeshadow brushes for this highlight. Which brush is this? There is no name on it. It's their rounded like crease blending brush. I'm just going to take my blush brush and blend that a little bit. So far I do like this brush. It seems to be like on par with the brushes I normally use. Once again, I'm not quite sure where to go color-wise with this because I am wearing black, but I am intrigued by this sort of bluish teal color at the top, so I'm definitely going to use that. I'm just going to start going, and because these have no names, you will have no idea what I'm putting on my face. I zoomed in a little so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm having trouble finding like a good crease color because none of these are matte, like I said before. But I found one that's like a nice neutral color, and I'm gonna just reuse that blending brush I used earlier and just stick this in the crease. Now before I dirty this up with a bunch of darker colors, I'm just gonna highlight my brow bone. That was way shinier than I was looking for here. Let me blend that out a bit. Putting a shimmer on my brow bone always reminds me how much I probably need to pluck a little bit to clean that up. But that's good. It blended out pretty nicely once I rubbed it with my finger. I'm opening up another one of the brushes I got. This one is this nice little flat angled brush. So I'm going to use this to pack on that blue. The one thing I don't love about the colors on this palette is there aren't like a lot of deep colors. They're kind of all on the same sort of level of intensity, so I'm having trouble figuring out what else to do, but I'm just gonna go for the shade right beneath the blue and just start blending that in the outer corners, and hopefully it will look okay. When I first started putting this like smoky-ish color on, I thought it wasn't blending very well, but it looks like enough color was deposited there. I'm just gonna take a teeny bit more of that color and put it in the crease because I feel like that might help tie it up all together. I'm just gonna bring this color a little more towards the center because I think I'm gonna put that super dark color that fell out of the palette in the very outer corners. Because I'm noticing that this color I'm putting on right now, it's the darkest one in the palette except for that dark one that fell out, and it's like not super dark. And the brush just shed a hair on me, which is always a great sign the first time you use a brush. I'm really liking the variety of eye brushes that came in this little set I got. This brush is pretty similar to a pencil brush, but it's a little bit thicker, so I think this will be really good for the outer corner. And again, I'm just gonna use that like dark, it's kind of like an olivey, goldish black kind of color. It's not quite black. I'm really liking that brush, but it wasn't the smoothest application. So I'm gonna go ahead and start blending. That color definitely shows up a bit darker than the other one, so that is good. However, again, like there's not a ton of depth in this palette unless you're super fair skinned to start. And I am pretty fair on the spectrum of fair skinned, but I feel like a lot of these colors are more like medium range to me, and there are a lot of super light colors, but not a lot of really darker colors to sort of smoke it out and balance out. So that's like my one downside of this palette. I'm just gonna go back with that blue and brighten it up a little bit, and I'm noticing now that I've used some of the other colors, when I start sort of digging into the color with my brush, it really brings up a lot of pigment. It's kind of like crumbly almost, and not all the shades so far are quite like that. So that's something to keep in mind. I actually kind of like it like that because then it kind of goes on more like a pressed pigment. But it can be a little messy, and I'm really hoping I don't ruin my beautiful concealer job I did today. Finally, I'm going to use the lightest shade in this palette to just do the inner corners because I want to see how it wears. It looks super shimmery and pretty, and it's kind of like a bluish white. And yeah, that is pretty intense. Oh boy. Well, very intense. I guess I'm just going to look like that the rest of the day. So there's this little sort of pencil type brush in this set, so I'm going to use that for the bottom lash line. And I want to go for like, let's see, I'm going to go for like warmish pinkish copper on the bottom lash line. So I'm seeing this color that I really want to try. I am just going to blend this on the bottom lash line. This color is really pretty. It's almost going into my waterline a little bit. It's really pretty. It doesn't look like it's going to be that warm in the pan, but it looks nice. Okay. I think that's it for the eyeshadows I'm going to use for this look, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and check back in with you guys with like my full thoughts and review. And we're done. So I'm going to just sort of sum up my feelings now that I've had this on for a few minutes. I really like this blush. I think it looks really nice, and I think the variety of colors in here is really awesome. Now for the eyeshadows. It's a bummer that I lost this one shadow en route to my apartment. That really sucks. I'm probably gonna have to reach out to Hautelook and see if I can get a partial refund because that sucks, but it's a quick fix, I guess. It's just kind of inconvenient. These eyeshadows are pretty great. I think they're really nice. Some of the colors are a little hard to blend, at least from the like 4 or 5 I just used. But, I mean, it's a nice range of colors, and it's, again, like a really good deal to get this many eyeshadows. I can't believe I haven't touched all these before filming. Normally, it's like the first thing I do is I dive in, but I wanted to keep the palette looking like not disgusting for you. You're welcome. And as for the brushes, I have kind of mixed feelings on these as I drop them all over myself. I have some mixed feelings because overall, I mean, it's nice to get a whole set of brushes for a good price, and they're not bad. I just don't like that the blending brush, a hair fell out while I was using it, and it's the first time I've used it, And I mean, I'm sure I blend a little harder than most people out there, but I don't think it's that big of a difference because my Sigma brushes hold up really well. And even I have this like Target blending brush I use from, yeah, it's like the Up and Up brand, and this brush has never shed on me. And this one was like $2 or $3. So the fact that this one shed in the first use and the brush itself is, I think, more expensive than the Target one, that's no fun. But I think the variety that came in the set was really good, and it's just fun to try a bunch of new brushes. So I think that they're definitely a fun thing to try if you are just getting into makeup or you have a friend who you know would really like them. They're not bad. I just don't think that they're necessarily the best you can get. So right as I just said one hair fell out, I just found 2 more brush hairs on my lap. So not looking good for that blending brush, which is this is sad because I've seen so many YouTubers just rave about this brand, and it's always really disappointing to get it and then you see a lot of these flaws like this. Like, you start to wonder how many YouTubers just say stuff because they get it for free or they're paid to say it. I know that was like probably a little controversial there, but honestly, like this brush, it fell apart on me the first time I used it. And again, I don't think I like rubbed it really aggressively or anything. I can't even imagine what it's gonna do when I try and clean it later. I didn't have that problem with any of the other brushes, so definitely that's something to keep in mind. Maybe some of their brushes are better than others. I don't know. I've only really tried those 3 or 4 that I just used. Okay, swatch time, and go. That's it for my impressions in this video, so thank you so much for watching. Please go ahead and like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and if you're looking for me, you can find me at any of the social media handles that you'll see on the end screen or down below in the info box, or as always, you can find me at brokeforbeauty.com. Thank you again for spending time with me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
I'm just going and going, you're just going and going, we're just going.